ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the 7th IESF World Championship, coming to you live from the Nexon Arena in Seoul, South Korea. My name is Reed Rapid Melton, joined once again by Justin Song. Not quite as good at fighting games this time, but yeah, I want to welcome you back. We're going to switch things up a little bit as far as game order. So coming to you next will be South Africa, playing against a team that you guys saw in the first matchup of the day in Thailand's, was it LazerCat?
LazerCats. Yeah,
it's like Thundercats, but slightly different.
Slightly different. They're laser.
Upgraded from thunder to lasers. It's more scientifically advanced.
Sounds cooler too, I guess, in my personal opinion. Yeah, so the game actually that we were going to play was against Tunisia and Romania, but one of the teams are just finishing up their games, so we're going on to match 5 right now against South Africa. And as you have mentioned, we've seen before, LazerCat performed very well in their first game.
Right. I was actually pleasantly surprised there. Thailand showing a pretty dominant win there in their first game versus Rise of Gamers from Israel. So
Iran.
Or from Iran, yeah, right. So it's kind of interesting to see, okay, so Thailand starting to come off very strongly. And we just watched a game, and you can see their players matching up against themselves on the stream right there. Taga Bearclaw versus Argonaut. Elise, not the champion there, there's no E. Versus Nat JW. Fino versus Mackenzie. Sexy B versus Murphy. And it's going to be hard to pronounce her name, but Yiki versus Brave Guilty. Now, Brave Guilty was guilty of being super brave in the first game. He was definitely getting in there, so excited to see the bottom lane matchup there. And like you said in the first game, Thailand off to a very, very strong start, putting a win under their belt. Now, what I was getting ready to say was that we just watched the game from Chinese Taipei, who came into that series off of a loss. We're able to turn things around, but now we're getting ready to get into a very exciting match. This is the first time that we're getting to see South Africa on stream.
Yes, that also goes on to what I wanted to mention. Since we have seen LazerCat, I don't know how much scrimming has been going on between these teams. That might have been the first time that these players are watching the other teams play. So with that under their belt, I don't know how the pick band's going to be maybe adapting to what the LazerCats were playing in their first game from South Africa. That might happen. I want to see if the Lulu pick goes in again. So
we should be looking to start our fourth game. Coming into picks and bans here, South Africa taking on Thailand. Let's go ahead and get into picks and bans here in just a second. So already starting things up there. It's going to be really exciting, like you said, to see what both of these teams prioritize. For South Africa, they've already started things out. The picks and bans coming onto your stream right now. South Africa starting with a Malphite ban. The LazerCats starting once again with Morgana.
Apparently they're trying to prioritize Morgana ban in the situations a lot, maybe just so that they can go for heavy CC comp with the Black Shield, so they don't have to worry about that. Tom Kench ban coming in again, so 2 support bans here. Mundo, of course, ban on blue side.
So we've seen a lot of support bans. The third support that we might see banned here is Soraka. We've noticed that in at least the first couple of games. Seen those Soraka bans, but still waiting to see what South Africa is going to go for here. It's a Brand ban as their last one. We saw Brand used to great effectiveness in the last game that we just watched for Chinese Taipei. So interesting bans here. If you go back like maybe a season, 2 seasons, you tell me that these are going to be the bans. I don't know if I believe you, but this is preseason. Definitely things getting changed up. And there's a Jax pick, once again, also seen in the previous game.
And we're seeing Lee Sin picked here first on the blue side, and there are other junglers left, like Kindred, Elise, Gragas.
You'd expect with the player named Elise on your team that you might want to prioritize that champion. Besides that, also one of the best junglers currently available. Now, Quinn jungle is super OP in solo queue. If you don't believe me, go try it. It's ridiculous. But as far as its actual lane pressure, and these teams have not necessarily practiced on this current 5.23 patch all that much. It just came out a few days ago, so probably not going to see that either. We've only seen one Quinn game. Not really effective enough to pick up a win there.
Yeah, so this gives LazerCats a lot of room in terms of who they want to pick with their Thresh. Another jungler, so they don't want to show their laners. Rek'Sai does very well against Lee Sin. Lee Sin can't come into Rek'Sai's jungle and try to fight 1v1, so Thresh is probably with 3 support span, with 2 support span. Thresh, Alistar probably the biggest priority. Maybe Braum coming in from the other team. So.
All right, so I actually expected Rek'Sai to be way higher on the tier list. Now, as far as junglers in pick order, but South Africa have already locked in what is not necessarily the strongest jungler right now in Lee Sin, but is a big power pick for them, at least from what I've been able to read. And it's actually been really cool to see South African support for their team. You guys might not be familiar with a lot of esports coming out of South Africa. These guys are incredibly passionate and really ready to represent their country here at IESF. So waiting for a little bit more to be telegraphed about their team composition. We see the Lee Sin. Do you think it's possible that Lee Sin could be maybe a flex pick here in this situation, or pretty much just a jungle?
I mean, that could be, but I highly doubt it. Lee Sin, like I said, there were many junglers available with their first pick, but Lee Sin is a very comfort pick for a lot of the junglers in way they play in solo queue and stuff like that. But we see here now Lucian coming in and Braum, as I have mentioned before, on their top tier support in this meta. So,
all right, well, it's going to be Lucian Braum, pretty decent combo. In fact, I remember when that was, when Braum was first released, it's like, hey, bet that champion go pretty well with Lucian. You get the extra light slinger procs to be able to start things off with the concussive blows. And in response to this, I was seeing the Quinn hover, but looks like that's going to turn around into Lulu, another champion that I know you talked about being really surprised that it's been left up every game.
And then they're taking it again, so I don't know if they're going to try to run this Lulu mid or top, but Lulu actually getting through again. So, and with Lulu goes well with any hyper carries. Vayne also included in those list of hyper carries.
Right.
But I feel like there were better AD carry choices possible, but Vayne, again, also same thing as Lee Sin, is a comfort pick for a lot of these solo queue challengers and players. So.
Right, and Murphy, we got a chance to see him on Tristana early on. Tristana Lulu, that's the combo that just like devastated for them. And I would expect to see that be Argonaut's top lane Lulu once again. If you guys don't remember that game, I'm pretty impressed that you wouldn't be able to, because it was pretty dominant. Top lane and then 80 carry, just completely ridiculous. But we haven't seen South Africa play here today, so we don't know exactly what their strengths are aside from that comfort pick on the Lee Sin. But still looking to see what their actual lanes are going to be, their solo lanes here, looking for a mid and a top lane. And it does appear as if Renekton's what's being hovered over, but man, I am excited to see what Tiger Bear Claw is going to lock in. It does look like they're hovering over a Pantheon.
So okay, now in this situation, we might think of Lee Sin as a flex pick here. Might go top lane, maybe, or just stay jungler and go
but
with
if this is a
top.
Riven, that's going to be exciting to watch. Because you just know, like, oh, something's happening mid lane, something's happening in bot. No. You just always focus top lane, because that is going to be where the action's at. But still questioning what's about to go down there. Still maybe a flex pick from this Lulu into Pantheon. I'm not sure how that works out, because it's been quite a while since I've seen Pantheon played in any lane outside the jungle.
Yeah, outside the jungle. Also, most recent Pantheon play I've seen, remember, is Insect try to play in Worlds.
Emphasis on tried to play.
Tried to play last year, but this is why Lulu's such a great pick just as a flex pick, because even if you pick a third pick, it's still blind pick for fourth and fifth pick for the other team, because they don't know if Lulu's going top or mid. So
right, a lot of versatility.
Yeah, it becomes a blind pick for them, which what it translates to means is that you don't know what the other laner is going to be. So
really interested in this Pantheon pick, and to be fair, this is what's really interesting about a lot of these countries bringing in their local teams, their national teams, is that they play their own style, and a lot of times it's very difficult to research the style of the countries that you'll be playing against, especially not knowing like how the seeding is going to work out with the groups. So it's likely that these are just strategies that each one of these teams has prepared, not necessarily against each other, but just like, hey, these are the strats we want to go for. Want to run that power pick. The Lee Sin Pantheon combo is going to be ridiculous. You pick a jungler with high gank pressure, and then you also get some really high damage on your top laner, whether it's something like Riven, but in this case, it's a Pantheon. South Africa is looking for some kills.
Okay, so going into this game, the time limit is on Team South Africa right now. Lulu, Vayne comp, it scales in very well. Victor scales very well into the late game. Rek'Sai does pretty well for the early game power spike that they might need to transition into the late game. But the overall team comp is very strong, but we never know what's going to happen with the Pantheon in the top lane. So.
A lot of questions left to be answered here, Justin. We are about to get into our 4th game of the day here at the 7th World Esports World Championship. Sorry, I was out of order there. I've got to get all the words in the right order. But I do have a little bit of a brief delay as we're getting into this game, so should take a couple of seconds. In the meantime, do want to remind everybody that this is a pretty exciting moment, not just for both of us, not just for the people watching, but also for these 2 teams here. Not just the 2 teams, but any of the teams represented here. And if you guys have any opportunity to, either know any of these players, or if you're just from the countries being represented, definitely let the players and the teams know your support. You can hashtag IESF. I know that's what I've been doing. Just let everybody know that this is going on. Support the players and the teams from countries around the world that may not get a lot of esports exposure, but it's nice to see IESF come out and really get a chance to see a lot of these regions compete against each other, some of those popular esports titles out there.
Yeah, it's the responsibility of the players to play their best and try to get some exposure for their scene, but it's also important for fans to foster that scene so it can grow into something bigger and create an infrastructure.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into our 4th game of the day. South Africa taking on Thailand. Both teams ready to go out onto the rift, so let's go ahead and get things back underway. And here we go. You're going to see Team South Africa on the bottom half of your map in the blue, facing off against Thailand, coming out in the red. IESF 7th World Championships, continuing with the preliminaries.
Important summoner spell to talk about. Pantheon's actually running Ignite, so he's looking for the kill pressure in the top lane. Probably want to go standard lanes if he's trying to do that.
So a big important fact to learn about this early game is what the lane matchups are going to go. If you go Ignite, Corrupting Potion, Pantheon early on, and you get into a 2v1, it's just done. It's not going to work out very well. And as we all talked about in the picks and bans, the scaling is not going to be with South Africa. They're going to hit a big mid-game power spike where they've got their first 1.5 items, and they're all really strong. They maybe group up and go for some big picks. But afterwards, we get into 30, 35 minutes in, it's not going to look good versus an incredibly high scaling team from the LazerCats.
I mean, I can see why they opted to use Ignite more just for their kill pressure, but I mean, even with the ult coming from Pantheon, the range is very small, so he cannot be there everywhere. He needs to be in position where they need to fight, so I'm wondering how it's going to work out. So
now we're going to see things start out. We're going to have not a double jungle start, just a little bit of a leash there for Anat. JW, he's going to be taking down the Gromp, and going to be seeing standard lane. So this is where we get to see whether or not that snowball starts to roll up in the top lane, how the lane matchups work as far as getting level 2 in the duo lane, and maybe some action mid here as well. As already a little bit of damage being done there by Feno, but Flay back in there. So it's still level 1 for both members of each duo lane. Sexy B being pushed back there, and Iki not in a position to protect her AD carry.
Yeah, great trade coming in from the Vayne side of Vayne and Thresh combo. Braum is typically very strong level 1, but they managed to win that trade, so.
Continuing to keep an eye on the bottom lane. Now that there is that level discrepancy, that's going to be really rough to watch out for. Tenga Bear Claw going back in. It's going to get a lot of damage down, and oh man, needs a little bit more mana, but that might be a lane to watch for First Blood, and especially early on. That's what, I mean, you don't see an Ignite Pantheon run into lane against you and think to yourself that you're just going to farm the lane out. No, he's going to try to kill you. We'll see how effective that is.
Yeah, and then we see Pantheon warding that Tribe Rush in the blue side just so he can check if Rek'Sai's coming in trying to help out this lane.
I mean, he pretty much knows he's going to be drawing gank pressure, but bottom lane maybe where that pressure is at. Nice condemn into the wall, but Unbreakable is up there, so Iki's actually able to be, to stay alive against even such strong pressure. And we talked about gank pressure top lane, right on time to counter that out, at least coming up there to stop that from being an effective gank. But now bottom lane, oh my goodness, instantaneous flash there. Least and Sexy B both getting out alive. A little bit too far forward.
Trade Targons for splash, I guess.
I mean, I guess so. You should want to be able to get those procs off, heal yourself up in lane. And Murphy and Brave Guilty consistently winning out their lane matchup. We saw that in their first match of the day versus Iran's Rise of Gamers, consistently able to be a very strong lane.
The strength of this team, I think, comes from both top and bot. Murphy's playing actually very well. The lead that they currently have right now in that bot lane all comes from that level 1 trade that they took, coming out of it better than the other team. So,
but with all that jungle pressure top lane, it's actually sort of stifled this early advantage that you're looking for from Pantheon. But now we're going to see that comboed here with this crazy Elise gank. There's all the damage there. I don't think Argonaut's got this. Flash away. There's the Q combo. First blood goes to South Africa. Bottom lane there, looking for more kills. Sexy B with a summoner heal after Ignite, but I think he's just barely going to be able to stay alive. Able to get out of there. Nice all in. Still going to push him back to base and out of lane, but still only 1 kill going away there. South Africa not giving another one up.
And yeah, that's what Elise needed to do. Put pressure on the top lane so they can make use of that Pantheon and Ignite, and so keep the snowball rolling. It would have been better if Pantheon got the kill, but they got the kill nonetheless, so that's very good. However, they blew 3 summoner spells out of that, so...
A big investment for sure, but I think just really trying to invest in that top lane and say, look, we're going to try to snowball this lane as much as possible and let Pantheon just be a devastating force in that top lane, even independent of ganks coming his way. Now versus Lulu, that's a little bit difficult to do because sooner or later, Lulu gets to hit level 6, which means jumping in on her is going to be a really difficult thing to do.
Lulu, I feel like in these games are not very much of a solo laner when it comes to mid-game. Power Spike is more of a second support for your ADC. So,
he doesn't even need to win his lane extremely hard.
No,
now,
it doesn't.
Yeah, we've seen him do that already, so even that's been impressive. But for right now, I think the biggest thing to watch out for might be that top lane, but also got to keep an eye on the duos because Murphy was a huge source of damage. Had a few, plays where he would, jump in and then flash immediately, back out. Went a little bit over-aggressive, but this time he's on Vayne, so maybe that's a little bit more okay. Although it still looks like he's building towards that static Shiv first, which is been a little bit questionable given that it has been recently nerfed on this patch.
Yes, it is, and it's usually not the first item that you go as Vayne in general either. But, I mean, apparently it's been shown against LazerCat's ADC and Iran's team's AD carry also, so maybe this is a new build that most Vaynes go these days.
Brave Guilty, a little bit too brave there. Walks forward, misses his death sentence, and is punished a little bit for that, but gotta keep an eye on the top lane. And not JW looking to turn this top lane around. And I think you gotta know that Thailand knows that a lot of their strength comes from top lanes. Argonaut, huge Lulu play in their first game of the day, looking to reprise that role in the top lane, but right on time. Elise in there, ready for the counter gank, and going to be walking straight through a ward. I think he knows he's been spotted.
And Lucian's going for double Dorans instead of any items that might build into a different for core items. So he's gonna hit his power spike a little bit less, just so he has a little bit more lane pressure.
Keeping an eye on mostly the bottom lane right now. Unsuccessful turnaround there, but here comes the roam from mid. We've got Ari on her way down. Fino trying to make something happen, but does look like Murphy and Brave Guilty, they're playing right into it. They don't even know this is coming in. A great position here. Let's see what Fino can get going on there. Has to land that charm, does land it on to Brave Guilty. Fino taking a lot of damage there, but so is Brave Guilty. Fino trying to make it happen and will pick up that kill onto Thresh. Unable to get out of there alive as Mackenzie will TP in there for a counter kill. We've got action in the top lane as well as Argonaut's going in. It's a double kill in the bottom lane as Murphy on point with those 2 kills for himself. And overall, just what happened to turn that so far in Thailand's favor?
I mean, like, there was the roaming priority from Ari first. Ari went down to roam mid again first, but however, we saw the TP coming in from Victor, and that's why a lot of these mid laners run TP, so they have that roaming potential, even if they start walking down later. So.
Incredibly well played there. Mackenzie has got 2 assists, but the really big thing to talk about are those 2 kills on Murphy's Vayne. Not where you want it. We've got a Pantheon ult coming top lane. Actually does land most of that damage onto Lulu. This is going to be really rough to get away from. We got those auto crits coming in. Taka Bear Claw. I'm not sure if that's like a special move that he uses when he kills people, but able to get those Heartseeker strikes on in there for and Really nice kill off the ult. Really nice punish, and there's actually another shutdown in the bottom lane. We got Sexy B clocking in for 2 kills in a row for South Africa.
Yeah, this is that Braum Lucian synergy. The passive proc of double autos with the Q and the W and the E actually procs that Braum passive a lot faster.
Teleport. Now this time it's coming in from Argonaut, trying to make the big play. It looks like Iki is a little bit caught out there, but super tanky as a Braum support. But oh no, it's Easy B, or Sexy B rather, not going down just yet.
I was twice already.
Yeah, that's the second time in a row. Kind of got robbed there, but oh no, here comes at least a lot of damage in there on Mackenzie. Got the combo. The stun over the wall. Mackenzie the flash in, but is there going to be enough damage? Gravity Field just barely hits the stun. Mackenzie. It's, I guess, you know, trading off which team gets to escape from 0 HP. Miss on both of the skill shots there. Fino out of mana as well. Does have blue buff to regenerate that, but Argonaut's in a pretty good spot.
This is very good for Pantheon right now. He does have kill pressure on every single champion on the opposing team right now, and it's all due to with Lee Sin coming up top lane every single time. So, and they're taking that first turret, taking advantage of the Lulu teleport bot. So very good, and they didn't get any kills off of that. So.
This is one of the most even games of the tournament so far. We've seen both teams' strengths and weaknesses. A lot of pressure up towards the top half, starting that snowball rolling, but I think you were actually the one that talked about sort of the timer on this game. It draws on late enough. Thailand going to start to maybe outscale a little bit.
Yeah, they have outscaled, but this, in terms of game plan, I think this is what South America wanted. Put a lot of help on that top lane so Pantheon can do damage, and we just saw what he can do in that top lane when Victor walked over. So.
I mean, the Condemn landed there. I guess that's good. Maybe a little bit premature, but gotta stay safe. Murphy has actually been doing a great job there. Even in CS, though, and that's something that didn't have in the last game that they played versus Iran. Murphy just completely smashed that lane open, and now not having quite that same strength down there. It's certainly not the same strength we saw from Argonaut in the top lane in game 1, but now got to keep an eye on the bottom lane. Murphy preeminently ulting, but here comes in the Pantheon. Gonna go ahead and get that stun onto Bravefield. He is out of there. Tiger Bear Claw clocking in for his second kill of the game.
Great name, great name. Top turret's going down though, so.
Trading that away, I'm not sure if it's really going to be a worthwhile trade. What do you think about that? I mean, they're going to get the bottom turret too, but a much bigger investment there by South Africa.
Of course, and then they can transition this into a vision control down in Dragon. I don't know if they're going to go straight for it, knowing the Victor's top.
I mean, they've got all 5 champions down there, so you might as well at least, you know, try to accomplish something around the Dragon area. Now, they do know that not JW, I mean, he's in the area, but probably not going to go in here for this steal. We'll see how brave he is.
Yeah, Thailand is too late for this right now. They might try to initiate, but no, with Vayne and Victor so far in the base.
Pick here. Thailand really just not giving up anything without a fight. Death Sentence comes out. It is going to grab Yiki, but she's able to get that Glacial Fissure off, so great disengage there. Pretty much picture-perfect Braum play, able to get her team out of there alive. And yeah, like you said, Thailand just a little bit too late to the party there to stop that dragon from being taken.
Yeah, so they take everything off of that teleport. I mean, not teleport, with the ult coming in from Pantheon. So transition that into a lot of big leads, a lot of big objectives. So, and they have complete control over that bot side. So now they can push up Vision very easily.
At least it's just like, hey man, thanks for the jungle help. Death Sentence does land on Fino. Safeguards in there, but ult force out. Fino might look for a turnaround here, but just going to settle for clearing out that wave. And turret safe for now. I was going to keep an eye on Murphy pushing down the bottom lane. There's that culling. Unfortunately, culling does not deal 400% damage to creeps. At least it didn't look like it. I mean, when you have an ultimate ability that's so super cool, it kills 3 creeps. I don't know if that's working as intended, but now Sexy B versus Murphy. Some extra assistance coming down from support there. Iki getting pulled back in. There's the Unbreakable, the Lanterns to save, quote-unquote, save Murphy, but not really anything accomplished off of that. Tunneling back, and there's no knock-up. There's the knock-up on the Tiger Bear Claw. He's going to get some help there from Fino's coming in, but will the Lulu ult be effective enough? At least not in time there to save her top laner. And oh my gosh, so much action, but who's going to come out on top? Fino might be able to get in there, but misses both skill shots. There's going to be the burst from Victor. Fino trying to escape, turning back around for the damage. He doesn't get a Lulu off the back shot. Fino dodges that death set, or the Death Ray, but it's a double kill in the meantime. Bottom lane, Murphy is putting up some big scores.
Again, a lot of kills coming in, a lot of things happening before 15 minutes for LazerCat, always in skirmishes.
Oh my gosh, perfect combo in there. All the skill shots thrown out there. Vino actually doesn't have a whole lot of mana, but has that one auto attack that he needs to tie the score at 7-7.
Yeah, no goal differential here, 300, that's minimum. Oh, we see all here coming
Another
in from
Pantheon all coming down, clears the wave. Nice play backwards. Something tells me we've got some kill potential down here. Another teleport coming in. Will this be able to turn this one around? Tiger Bear Claw super strong with that Black Cleaver completed.
It's what we call zoning teleports.
They're just like, hey man, get out of here.
Get out of here, go home.
Well, Argonaut able to at least exert some pressure down there, but at least not going to let him recall back to base the easy way. Going to come up here, try for Scuttle Crab there. Now, Dragon not available, won't be up for a while, but just wanting some extra vision down there on the bottom half of the map.
Yeah, so the game is very even at this point, but like I mentioned before, this team does have a time limit in terms of talking about South Africa, in terms of their team comp. They do have a time limit of what they can do in mid-game, and then they scale off very during the late game stage of the game, so they need to do something here.
Now, XXB and Iki might be a little bit of trouble, but there's at least to try to help him out. Off to the side there, Tiger Bear Claw trying to deal some damage to Victor, but actually going to be forced to flash away. So it does look like Iki's still in this. The culling coming out, but once again, cannot penetrate the minion line. XXB actually, whoa, dashes into 4 champions. What? Murphy just takes him out pretty much for free. I don't know about that. We got some Lucian spotting going on. As now here comes Fino trying to make something happen. Does land that charm. Brave Guilty does get a summoner heal, staying alive for a few more seconds. Iki walks forward and helps Feno going on a killing spree. Now Murphy trying to kite backwards is actually in a really good spot there. Unable to find one kill there. At least just walks forward for the love tap. Is able to take him down.
Yeah, Lulu did not have teleport in that situation, so she's just farming up top. It was a 4v5. Great flank from Ari coming in from behind, hitting that charm on Thresh, so.
Yeah, this game is absolutely ridiculous. So back and forth, like you said, 300 gold, the only thing that separates both these teams. Now, I mean, there are small differences when it comes to objectives. Got a bigger focus there by South Africa, able to pick up one more turret, one more dragon, so it kind of feels good for them at this point in the game, but once again, like you mentioned, clock is ticking. Now, a couple of things that are going to go well, regardless of what time in the game you are. You got a 4-1 mid laner. This Ari has been having some issues with skill shots, but when all you have to do is hit one of them, now that his damage is so high, that's going to be what we look for when it comes to making these picks in the mid game. That's going to be what really this entire team comp is built around.
Something we haven't mentioned before is the CS differential on the top lane right now. It's almost 50.
I mean, that's something that's kind of par for the course for our mind. But oh man, and Lantern just narrowly saving it. But oh man, Argonaut not too long for this world there. He's trying to dodge around there, but he's going to go down. That's Fino on a rampage. Now 5-0 now. Iki's going to get pulled in there. It actually takes almost all of her HP and damage. Does finally wind up going down. This could be a good fight for Thailand to take to come back. They're trying to chase things out there. The flash forward. The Death Sentence lands on Elise. They're trying to turn things around. Fino might be the next to fall and does go down there. The Condemn. Picking it up off the knock away. Murphy saving this one and really turning it back into a Thailand favored game.
Yeah, I feel like every time this happens in this game, it's just like where they get a small lead off of a pick and it turns into this huge team fight in every situation. So.
And that's really all it took. Iki walked forward, got Death Sentenced, and I mean, maybe you can say it's her fault for walking forward. Maybe you can say Brave Guilty, good job on landing not one but 2 Death Sentences there. And just off of that pick, that one fight, we're going to see the second dragon of the game, this one, going over to Thailand.
I feel like Waiki's way braver than Brave Guilty in some situations.
If you're going to name yourself Brave Guilty, you better be pretty brave. Or pretty guilty, I suppose. There, he's
sometimes they go hand in hand. Sometimes they go hand in hand. Being brave and guilty.
I guess so. Sometimes too brave, but it's been working out so far. He's got those 3 deaths, but 9 assists. That's pretty impressive. 3/4 kill score or kill participation coming in here.
And then we see Roa now build on Lulu, so she could probably come down. There's no longer for her need to split push.
Really kind of catching Ari in a rough spot there right before her Luden's Echo power spike, which is a ton of damage considering how mobile a champion she is, able to stack that up to sort of the AP static shift. But oh man, time to look up towards the Rift Herald. He's definitely looking at what's going on there. You can see absolutely no vision in the area. That's a pretty free objective here for South Africa, who we already talked about being right on top of those objectives with maybe that one small hiccup around the Dragon area.
I mean, that the vision and the Baron Pit is actually more favorable if you are on the blue side. But then we can see that they have not warded the entire side of the top lane, so maybe that's a problem. But they do have a lot of visions in the bot lane, so maybe that's what they're trying to snowball off of.
And that pink ward down on the bottom half of the map, right near the red buff, a little bit further back for Thailand, is actually really, really hard to spot out there. You saw Sexy B just like walk right past it, unable to scout it. Of course, right as I talk about that, I think Geeky might be able to walk up there and take it down. Brave Guilty too far forward. Gonna get Lulu ulted, staying alive there, but at least not so lucky. Look at Murphy, got so much damage. Walks forward for the condemn, flashes out. Good, or tumbles back out. Still got the flash. Brave Guilty, that time a little bit of both categories there on the name, but walks forward and is able to trade 1-for-1. Big Pantheon also coming in, looking to turn this one around. But not JW, I think he knows he's pretty dead there. Tunnels back out, but he's still going to go down. There's another 1-for-1 exchange, but this time it's Murphy too far forward, and he's going to go down. The culling used onto Argonaut is going to take that entire thing up. Doesn't really care too much about that one, and he's out of there alive, but in the end, a 3-for-2 exchange for that one in favor of South Africa.
Yeah, a little bit of overextension from the LazerCats coming in. They just got the kill, so they fell. The first tier turret goes down pretty fast, as we have mentioned before, faster than usual.
Oh, beautiful charm there. Fino just really on point.
Yeah, with his skill shot accuracy, I was just going to mention that he's been hitting every charm that's been needed this entire game. So.
Well, I mean, he's been clocking it. He's able to complete that Luden's Echo by recalling right there. He's in a great spot here in the mid-game. 20 minutes in, all champions will get home guard boots, which really helps out champions like Pantheon, is able to get out onto the the map deeper, able to get those Grand Skyfalls off. The man drops, and he's actually been really manly with them, to be fair. Building all damage here. How do you really look at that the Pantheon build? You go all damage and try to get the assassination, or you try to build tankier and help your team out?
For Pantheon, champions like Pantheon, it's either do or die.
Charm lands onto Murphy. That's a lot of damage coming down off the Luden's Echo. Ignites down. So is Murphy, but Tino's actually going to die there as well. Brave Guilty going down for a 2-for-1 exchange. South Africa not done just yet, or are they? Turns out, yes, they are in fact done. Backing back away, but still, they come out with a 2-for-1 advantage there and start to push up mid.
Yeah, South Africa winning all of these fights in the recent games. Trying to push this mid lane turret, and I was just talking about Pantheon. It's like Pantheon, you need to build all damage. If you go hybrid in terms of tank and damage, there's nothing really much you can do in teamfights. That's why I wanted to say there was a time limit on the champion.
Whoa, Sexy B dashing forward to try to get the turret kill. Gets it down, but now he's going to have to watch out for this home guard Lulu. Turns around for a summoner heal and a culling backwards. Sexy B's out of there. That was a little bit of style points there on the retreat. Maybe he's just living up to the name. Who knows? Murphy and Argonaut up there to hybrid, kind of split the wave, share the love, get some of that experience and gold. But man, this is definitely the most even game we've seen out of all of the preliminaries. South Africa, incredibly strong mid lane performance there by Fino, but kind of lacking in the AD carry department when you look over towards Murphy, just crushing things down once again. Nice to see, the more things change, sometimes the more they stay the same there with Murphy, doing very, very well on whatever hyper carry he chooses to play.
Yeah, and that's the biggest, probably the upside for LazerCats right now is that Vayne's been growing and being fed very much this entire game. So with the Lulu synergy, he might be able to do a lot more damage, be able to live a lot longer, and team fights have that sustained damage coming up.
And when you think about it, I actually really like the Pantheon pick here into Vayne. Granted, you're going to get flayed backwards, you're going to get CC'd when you jump in, but a click stun's a click stun, and being able to hit that onto Murphy, as long as he doesn't get flayed away or knocked up there by a not JW, definitely something to watch out for as a big threat, because, I mean, Vayne's super mobile, got stealth, got a lot of cool stuff going on, but, at least is itemized into the sweeping lens, so at least you're going to be able to see where Vayne is even if you can't target her based on the way the new stealth revelation mechanics work here in the pre.
Yeah, that's why it was very important whether Pantheon gets an early lead or not, because it's a type of champion that could snowball his lead very well.
Oh, gonna look for the kick there onto Murphy, but able to tumble right out. Beautiful reflexes, but here comes Pantheon jumping into the fight. Brave Guilty super low, and he's gonna go down there. This is a great fight for South Africa. Sexy B very low, and he's gonna actually be able to escape. Flash over the wall from Murphy. Save that until the last possible second. So much damage. The return on that orb of deception, but now Yuki's getting in there with another kill, able to clock in for her second of the game.
So many kills coming into this game.
Oh, Sexy B, no, able to get away there, dashes away, but ultimately gonna get shut down, man. Just keep walking. Recall's a very dangerous place.
Yeah, playing with fire.
You're gonna get burned. You know what they say, if what's that saying about ovens and kitchens and being too hot?
Not too hot, yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Well, whatever that is, that's
moral
exactly
of that story is don't recall.
Yeah, or remember your metaphors when you're about to use them when you're casting. Probably a little bit higher on the list. But here comes down to Dragon, as you see, third Dragon of the game. It does look like Thailand are in a good place to start it, but they don't have a way to clear out Lee Sin's ward in the back. Definitely got some steal potential in here. They're in a good spot to take this Dragon, then it does look like Thailand will finally secure that, their second Dragon of the game.
Murphy hasn't been able to do a lot in these team fights. Wild Growth has been used on Lulu instead of onto Vayne, so she can do a lot of free damage as the team fight progresses. But it's really good job done by both the mid laner and the top laner from South Africa, locking him down and getting those kills and bursting him down. So
Argonaut just winsies himself as he walks forward. It's like, oh no, I'm super scary. I'm a lot of Agent Lulu. Watch out.
With Morello.
Right. I think the more dangerous thing was teaching Ari and to follow up the rest of the team. To be fair, some pretty good wave clear here from Thailand as they push forward. Nice charm lands there onto Brave Guilty. Even better shield there by Argonaut. He's like, I want to protect this guy. Which is probably mostly going to be Brave Guilty as he walks forward. Now, here comes Pantheon looking to get this fight started. Jumps in. A lot of culling damage from the backline. Look at Sexy B, so much damage. Fino with the front line is able to get some, but Mackenzie turning it back around into a kill onto Elise there. Fight not stopping yet, but oh my gosh, Murphy's just barely alive. Strong enough for the shutdown and a double kill there for Mackenzie. As Thailand is able to turn that one around.
Yeah, this is why this Lulu comp is very strong with any sort of hyper carry. If she gets CC locked, then she can just ult Wild Growth her, and then she tumbles backwards and deals a lot of damage to opposing champions. So
really, really interesting to see maybe the turning point of this game. We talked about the early game power from South Africa, but the late game scaling might start to kick in here. As like you mentioned, Lulu able to save the initial point of focus from South Africa, so really a lot of coordination needs to be done there for their shot calling. You say, hey, look, we're gonna focus this guy. Uh-oh, we got Wild Growth. Time to switch targets. Murphy able to stay just barely alive and 11 kills on Vayne. I mean, the rest of your team can be feeding as much as they want to, and 11 kill Vayne is gonna be able to carry.
We see Lee Sin here going with Phage after the Deadman's play, even though he does already have the Warrior's Enchantment. So I don't know if Lee Sin building damage at this point would be a very good thing for this team. He needs to be able to initiate, try to kick anyone back, but he has not been very successful.
Right, I mean, you could see the mindset for this pick and ban phase for South Africa. They're like, all right, we got to get some assassins to go in there and kill off a Vayne. Now, previously in this tournament, it was to at least be the champion to be picked for that. Kind of confused as to why that wasn't the pick here, but a lot of strength from Elise on... Okay, that's going to get confusing. On Lee Sin, to be able to roam around, start to get the Pantheon going down. But an interesting item being picked up there. Can't exactly remember it, but it does give you chaotic amounts of life steal. It's interesting to see that be picked up for Pantheon instead of something like, I don't know, I think like a after Black Cleaver, you might want to see things like Yomu's Ghost Blade be picked up for extra armor penetration. I don't know, but it does look like he's going to be going for maybe a few tank items after this. I'm not sure.
Again, I cannot comment on this Pantheon build. I have yet to see top lane Pantheon in a while, so
Yeah, it's been, I'm not sure what the optimal Pantheon build is. I feel like that's kind of like asking for what the optimal AD Heimerdinger build is. Like, I mean, somebody out there knows the answer to that question. I'm just not sure how helpful that's going to be. But to be fair, like we said, Pantheon, any top lane assassin versus a Vayne is going to be you know, a good champion to pick up there. Oh, at least looking to go in here. Does get the damage off onto Argonaut, but what do you think about that trade? Is Lee Sin ult good to trade for Lulu ult there? I mean, it's not going to be available to protect Vayne.
I'm not going to try to mention anything. Just oh, no, you're see the engager
nice
coming from
there on a
Brawl.
Brave Guilty. Pantheon teleport coming in. They try to focus the support. I'm not sure if that's going to be who you want to put the damage down on. And look at Murphy just crushing the damage from the back line. Mackenzie coming in for a ton of burst there as well, and is able to pick up his first kill of that team fight. We've got both supports pretty low there, but a shutdown from Fino. All right, Mackenzie getting a little bit caught there. Kind of left the suds in the bucket on that one, but now I'm not tunneling forward aggressively and then walking away there. But Fino, really good job landing that charm to turn it around.
Yeah, Fino's been turning around this game just based on his turning around a lot of these skirmishes and team fights just by his skill usage and hitting those charms. So, and now he has Zonia, so he can engage now properly too if he wants to.
This is very, very dangerous to defend this turret. Somebody's got a recall there for South Africa, because look at that poke just continuing to be, you know, go out there little by little. The second tier turret is going to go down.
And Wild Growth still available on Lulu, so.
Well, not still available. It's come back up after being used there to save her life in the mid lane. But yeah, it is still available after that fight, and Murphy didn't need it. Great poke, great strength, and just little by little able to push up the top lane and take it down, or push down the top lane, I guess, if you're, you know, going for direction.
Both Vayne and Victor are growing immensely as the game goes on, and they are scaling champions. They are late game scaling champions. So
I mean, yeah, late game came a little bit early from Murphy as he was able to complete just about every item he needed. Even a Quicksilver Sash now, finally able to spec defensively, but man, this is going to be a little bit rough there. Murphy versus Sexy B, but Yuki coming on right off the backside, able to maybe ward Murphy back away. Here comes the old big damage starting off there. Murphy jumping into the front of the fight because he knows he's got some shields coming back his way. But now here we go, looking for possibly a flank. No charms to land, nobody catching anyone. Nice try, Brave Guilty, but unable to land that death sentence. Fino's got charm back up here in just a second. So might look for another pick. Oh, landed onto Mackenzie there in the back foot with it, unable to hit onto Vayne. This is not going to go well for Ari. He just gets absolutely destroyed. Sometimes Zonya saves your life, sometimes just delays your death there. Not a great place to turn golden.
To give him a benefit of doubt, he might have just died from a third auto from Vayne, so maybe he was trying to save himself, I don't know.
Very strong push in here. Taga Bearclaw not able to do anything without the rest of the support from his team. And that's going to be a turret. It's going to be an inhibitor here. Looks like Thailand may just have broken open this game.
Yes, they have. And then we're now at 31 minutes into the game. This is the late game in terms of how fast the game's been going ever since the preseason patch. So this is when the LazerCats have hit their power spike and is trying to utilize that to the fullest. The third dragon come in here.
Yep, this is going to be very, very key. If Thailand are able to take this one down, the LazerCats will be at such an advantage as far as positioning goes. But, oh man, got to keep an eye here on Baron Nashor. It's going down. Not quite at half HP just yet. Brave Guilty's in the area, and I think it's safe to say he knows what's going on. Now, Baron down to half HP. Rek'Sai able to use that Void Rush to get back into the area. And this is not going to go well for South Africa. They were trying for a desperation play. Is it going to pay off there? They kick Mackenzie backwards, able to just barely stay alive there. Ari goes in and is trying to get something to work out. Finds one kill there. Argonaut not dead just yet. He does just try to run away from the Thresh as much as possible. Azania's, but he's going to die to the box when he spawns there, or the death sentence, or the follow-up flay damage. It's coming in there, Brave Guilty, able to take down Fino.
You see how it was pretty funny how both Lulu and Vayne was trying to want to get that kill, but what if his Q hits me? Moving back and forth, but they turned this fight around very well.
Yeah, overall, 26-26, you can see both teams super willing to fight this game. And it's been really action-packed, really exciting to watch overall, but it feels like with that inhibitor taken down in the mid lane, it might just have put, you know, the first straw in the needle in the haystack. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm mixing my metaphors. Not a good day for the
metaphor game. That was actually a pretty good fight coming in from Team South Africa. Granted it didn't start out the way that they wanted to, but they locked down on Lulu and forced her to use that wild growth on herself, so Vayne couldn't have any sustained damage, free deal damage after that point. So, but if they pick better fights, they might actually win this game. But I guess
okay, now Murphy's top lane versus Saga Bearclaw. I don't know how well that works out. I feel like if Saga had turned around right there, they probably could have killed Vayne almost instantly. But I guess they just have a pink ward in Pantheon's inventory, so that might have been an opportunity, but better safe than sorry. Not willing to go in and suicide if that turned bad. So
Vayne is 2 levels actually ahead of the opposing top laner, which is pretty crazy. But
yeah, this is going to be rough to deal with here. So Ziyiki is in range of the Baron. Are they going to turn? Are they going to fight? It looks like South Africa trying to put some pressure on here. Argonaut just pushing away from the Baron pit. Baron very low there, trying to get the steal, but it's actually going to go to Nat JW. He's going to fight that one down for Thailand. Now here comes XCB trying to deal damage to Argonaut. Argonaut taking most of his damage. Not sure what that killing was going in for, and Argonaut able to stay alive there. Brave Guilty, actually, the one to pick up that kill on a Sexy B, and that is a big Baron fight. Actually, a teleport into the base, getting in there ahead of schedule, and Mackenzie pushing in for
this
what
could very well be the game. This could very well be the game.
We got double super minions pushing in. There's a teleport to keep the second one alive. A teleport in even from base. Fino there just condemned into the wall, even though the charm was landed. Just gonna get lasered down. The LazerCats, maybe some synergy there as they push in. Second inhibitor, second Nexus turret going down there. The Nexus taking damage, and this is finally gonna be Thailand able to take the victory 30-26 over South Africa. Incredibly well played there. Definitely the most even game of the day there, and excited to see both of these teams play as the group stage in this preliminary matchup continue. But congratulations there to Thailand, picking up their second win of the day. LazerCats roar, and they are coming out with a very strong 2-0 lead. But we're not done with the preliminary matches here for the day. Stick around, because when we come back, the 7th IESF World Championship continues right after this.